All right, my dudes, this is late as fuck, but I wanted to talk about The Last of Us. Man, I'm really bad at making YouTube videos. I don't know why. Just the idea of sitting down and recording, like pre-recorded content and stuff, is just not. It just doesn't jive well with me. But as a responsible adult who needs to get used to doing this stuff, yeah, I need to do it more. So I don't really have a structure for this one. I said I would get more of a structure or establish more of a structure, but maybe at some point in the future, I don't fucking know, dude. I mean, I finished playing this game a month or two ago, and I think that the game came out like years ago, right? But I mean, The Last of Us 2 is coming up, and I know that there are people that are going to bother me about this until I post it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, and then maybe it'll kind of give you more of an understanding in terms of like how I look at games or what I like in games or don't like in games. So before we really tear into the game, in terms of the deeper stuff, the side stuff, the extra stuff is like 9 or 10 out of 10 material. When I talk about extra stuff, I'm talking about like ambience, environmental effects, like sound effects, all the footsteps and everything, and the music and the voice acting. Fuck, these things were perfect, and the animations. These things were on a level that were like. I guess when I play older games, I'm usually expecting these kinds of things to be the things that fall most of the wayside, especially like animations and whatnot. But the animations for all the scenes were really, really good. I was a huge Witcher 3 fanboy, or I mean, I still am a huge Witcher 3 fan. I thought it was good, but like, how many conversations with Geralt were like, yes, I totally understand that this is like the thing that blah blah is really important. Yes, I totally understand. We need to go to the Red Marsh and kill the Game of Thrones, right? Like, and every single conversation, or like they'll do, they have like 5 gestures that they run through for the entire game. But in The Last of Us, the animations were really good on all of the characters and all the conversations, the facial animations, them interacting with each other. It was all really, really well done. I was really excited from the first few scenes. I was actually really nervous because I thought they tried really hard on some of the opening things, and then it was just going to fall off completely. But no, like all of the animations and everything were really good. And it seems like a minor thing, but it adds so much life to the characters. Like you get so much more out of them. Between that and the voice acting, I love Joel's voice actor. He's got like that classic, like soft-spoken, manly Texan drawl or Southern drawl or whatever. I love his voice actor so much, and Ellie did her part really well. Yeah, I was really surprised by that. This was like on a really high level. I've read, and people told me several times that literally everything was motion captured, that it wasn't like just animators, putting things into an engine and then, drawing it out, but everything was actually motion captured for the people interacting with each other. And I mean, it shows, and that's awesome. That and the music was really good too. It was a perfect level of ambience. Maybe no memorable themes, where I don't like John Williams levels or Nobuo Uematsu or any of like the memorable, like video game composers, Koji, whatever the Zelda dude is. Like, I don't think there were any like memorable themes, but in terms of providing you with a level of appropriate ambience and being there when it needed to and not being there when it shouldn't have been, like everything was like really well done on that level. So on like all the side stuff, the game was almost perfect. Like I can't think of how many different ways you could have done that. There were a lot of small things that this game did. I wish I did this review more recently, because I know I'm going to forget some things. There are a lot of small things that the game did that I really enjoyed as well. Things that you can only get from linear games, right? I hate open world games. Remember one of the cool things in the first Dark Souls game was that as you were going through areas, you could always look ahead and kind of see the next area you're going to. That happened a lot in this game. Well, my OBS is encoding overloaded, and I don't know why. Hopefully this video isn't laggy as fuck. But the view of like the tower, there were a couple times you're walking to someplace and there's like a church or something in the distance and you see it, and looking at these towers or looking at these landmarks and seeing you getting closer and closer or leaving things behind. I thought that was a nice little touch. It didn't add anything tremendous to the game, but it kind of gave you some scope of where you came from and where you're going, and I thought that was really neat. The level design itself worked really well. I didn't feel like I was in the Halo 1 library. I didn't feel like I was repeating area after area. Open world games, in my view, get very repetitive after a while. Walk into a dungeon, kill the dudes that are just kind of scattered about, walk out, get the treasure, whatever. In this game, I felt like the level design was decently done. Every area felt like a unique area. Like, oh, this is the X room. This was the room where, like the zombie room. Maybe I might be saying this only because I played these areas like 1,000 fucking times because I played on Grounded. I guess we can talk about that real quick. The Grounded playthrough for me, so there's two things going on that that actually contributed a lot to this. One, when I play games, I like to play it on the hardest difficulty because I'm a massive cuck. I don't know why. It's just something that I enjoy. I mean, as a personal thing, I don't know. I just like playing games on the hardest difficulty. But two, it actually added a lot of environment to the game for me. I really liked it that you never get to a point in the game where Joel is like a super soldier. Like, oh, well, I'm late game. I'm going to walk into a room with like 400 people and just fucking annihilate them all because I'm in super soldier mode. That never really happens, which is cool. I think it contributes to the authenticity of the game. Save for maybe the last section where you almost go super soldier kill. But I mean, like, it's the last section, granted that. But when you play in the grounded difficulty, right, everything genuinely feels very fucking difficult, which it should, right? You walk into zombies, like there's 4 zombies, 4 zombies. That's, 3 more than necessary to kill me if I fuck up, and I like that. I actually enjoy that a lot. I think that the grounded difficulty mode, kind of added that a lot to me. And the scavenging for parts or for ammunition kind of reminded me of The Evil Within, a really old shit game. If you've never heard of it or never played it, don't look at it or play it, and you'll be better off for it. But the scavenging for bullets and everything, and at all points in the game, it felt really good to find ammo. I always felt like, oh fuck bullets, like it's so cool, And that's a good feeling, I think, all throughout the game. Even on the very ending when you're picking up like 20 bullets, that's like, holy fucking shit, 20 fucking bullets from my saw. It was more like 5 or 10 on grounded, but like that's the sick as fuck feeling. And it always felt really, really good to find parts. You could probably knock it down a difficulty to that hard or whatever was before grounded and feel the same way. But that was just kind of my opinions. I like the in terms of weapon design and everything, every weapon felt unique. That was really good. The rifle had a very specific role. The shotgun had a very specific role. The 2 pistols were kind of sort of samey, right? I think there was a semi-auto and a revolver, but and then the pipes and everything. Every weapon seemed like it fit. Oh, and like the flamethrower. Every weapon seemed like it had like a very unique niche. The nail bomb thing that was really cool. I liked that. I've been very against in recent games the 50 million different types of weapons. I think they even did it in the recent Zelda where you can get like 50 million swords now and whatnot. I really like to be a clear distinguishment between all the weapons. That's one of my favorite things about Halo 1 that the later Halo games lost. In Halo 1, every weapon was hyper specific, very, very different. You had the Needler, the plasma pistol, the normal pistol, the assault rifle, the Elite's like plasma thing. I think you could use that in Halo 1, right? I'm pretty sure you could. That would go out after. And all of these weapons, the rocket launcher and the sniper rifle, all of these weapons and the shotgun had specific use cases and felt very differently. None of these weapons were ever interchangeable, ever. You can't just, like, if you're using a plasma pistol to charge and punch somebody, there's no weapon that substitutes that. If you're loading people up with needles from the needle, you can't substitute, right? And same thing in this game. Like, the shotgun played a different role. Pistols needed headshots. Shotguns could just blast the fuck out of people. The rifle was a sick high damage weapon, that you could fire from long range. The bow and arrow shit for stealth kills and whatnot. Probably not good if you're in like a super, spicy situation where you gotta kill people fast, but when you're stealthing through areas and shit, that the bow was really sick. So all of those things that went into the game were so cool. I liked the linear aspect of it. I loved the character interactions. Everything felt authentic because of the voice acting and because of the animations. And then if we go into the story itself, I thought that the game was put together in a really good way that made the story it felt, I'm trying not to say good. It worked. The story wasn't too complicated. It left you wanting more, which is so rare in games today. Sometimes I feel like I get lured the fuck out like 50 million times, where it's like I don't give a fuck about any of this shit anymore. But like this game, it felt to me like I wanted to get into more, like I'm ending the game with questions, and in a good way. Not questions like why the fuck did that happen, but questions like where did the infection come from? Why is Ellie so special? I think it's pretty clear, and we'll see in the second game, there's probably something more going on with Ellie. I doubt she was just born immune or got lucky, or it's possible she did, right? But like, where did the Fireflies come from? Why is the government killing everybody? Like, there's all these different questions and these different competing factions and whatnot. That I thought were really, were really interesting, right? We would all like to know the answers to these questions. If I had to do like a couple of complaints about the game, the few complaints that I would give would be, I didn't like the disrespect for water. It felt like in like a survival game, they were very, very quick to like fully submerge themselves. And it seems like, and I could be wrong, I was never a fucking Boy Scout, but it seems like when you're in survival scenarios, getting wet is like the worst thing ever. It causes you to lose body heat at a very rapid rate because water what is it, heat convection or whatever. I don't even know the I should know this because I think computers cool themselves the same way, but will like suck heat from your body very quickly as opposed to being dry. You can develop a lot of nasty infections, fungal or otherwise, you know, with wet socks and wet boots. Your stuff becomes heavier. Drying things out can be nasty, right? There was a huge disrespect for water I noticed in the game, but as a survival thing, that seemed a little bit lame. There was that, and then there was the I felt like the ending I feel like the ending, I don't want to say it was rushed, but there needed to be more deliberation of the main character, or something more had to happen there. Like, because I think that we're left walking away from that game with the way that the game ended and Joel saving Ellie and everything. I feel like we as an audience, the intention was to leave us with feeling like Joel saved Ellie, and that was probably a good thing. But I feel like there needed to be a lot more ambiguity present there. I think we needed to feel a lot more neutrality towards the main character. And I know that you can argue, oh, well, obviously we do, blah, 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 blah. But I think the game needed to show it more. Like, Joel made a really huge decision there where he literally killed like fucking 50 people just to get Ellie out, to condemn all of mankind potentially to death because he doesn't want that one girl to die, for them to research her brain and figure out, you know, what was preventing the infection from spreading or growing, right? This is a really big decision that was handled in all of like, what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes worth of cutscenes where Joel decides, you know, I'm gonna fuck all of mankind and destroy every single person in this place. Like, I feel like that was a pretty extreme thing. I don't know if there needed to be more deliberation there, maybe more conversations with the black lady, who was the leader of the Fireflies, I think. Maybe something more, just something more there to give us this feeling that that Joel is a little bit more of a neutral kind of character. And I know I'm gonna get roasted in the comments because I always have fights like these where people go, oh well, but Destiny, we're supposed to figure all of that, blah blah blah. I like it when the medium delivers you exactly what it is you're supposed to see, or give you clear indications though, rather than kind of leaving it up to like assume a bunch of things, I guess is all I'm saying. In terms of other complaints, one thing that really brings worlds to life, that makes things feel so alive, right? This is so important. And I had a lot of these criticisms of Final Fantasy 15. It's like, I want to feel like I am part of a living, breathing world where if you removed 1 or 2 characters, it would still fully function, right? In Final Fantasy 15, Noctis, everything was built around him as a person. Every other main character was built around him as a person. If Noctis doesn't exist, Promptu doesn't exist, because who the fuck is he? He's Noctis' friend. Gladiolus is Noctis' bodyguard, and then the other dude was his cook and driver. Like, all these people are like, right? But I feel like if you remove Joel from this world, you know, Ellie still has problems of getting across the world. She has an independent life of him. The one woman that Joel was with, I forget her fucking name. I should have known. The one crazy dude that they run into, the weird pedophile guy that Ellie runs into, right? All of these people exist and are part of this world. Whether or not you come along or not, it's very clear. Joel's brother in that area, right? Whether or not you come along, all of these people exist. They exist in this world. They're there to do things. They're not all extensions of Joel, right? Joel is just a person, and we're kind of along for the ride with Joel through this living, breathing world. One of the things that they could have done in this game to sell that feeling, and I keep going back to Halo. I think Halo 1 is one of the greatest, probably the single greatest FPS ever made. I think Halo 1 was, in terms of what it did for story, weapon selection, vehicles, innovation at the time. One of the big things that Halo 1 did that was so cool was you had 3 groups. You had humans, you had the elite aliens, the Covenant, and then you had the Flood, right? These were 3 very distinct groups, right? Watching your fellow humans fighting the Flood or the Covenant gave you a feeling of being part of something bigger, and a fight that was bigger than yourself, right? But not only that, watching enemies fighting other enemies, right? Watching the Flood come in and kill the Covenant, that's like another level of awesome. When you've got 2 enemy groups fighting each other, now you don't just feel like you're part of you know, your own group, a larger group. Now you feel like you're part of some global intergalactic thing where there are multiple competing, you know, factions that are influential and trying to fight each other. That's a really cool feeling. I really love that. I think they did that for the most part in all the Halo series. That's a really, really cool thing. I really enjoyed that kind of thing. In the Last of Us DLC, they started to do this where you saw zombies that would come out and kill the child raper dudes. Fuck, I don't remember the names of this faction of people. But you saw the zombies come out and kill those dudes. Oh wait, no, it wasn't the child raper dudes. It was just like random bandits and shit, right? Because this is just the DLC. But that's awesome. That's cool, right? And it was very, very strange to me that in the Last of Us game, they pretty much completely. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think there was a single like environment where you go in and there are people and aliens, right? I say aliens. I'm sorry. Fuck, infection, right? Which is strange because there are like four. I think there are 4 different factions that exist in this world. You have the I hate that I forgot all the names now. I should have did this more. I should have did this earlier. You've got like the bandits, the scavenger dudes or whatever. Then you have like the fireflies. Then you have the government forces. And I want to say there was a 4th group in here as well, but I don't remember who they were. I don't remember, but like all of these people were people that could have been fighting one another, right? You should have seen government people killing scavengers. You should have seen scavengers and fireflies fighting, and this would have been a really good way of introducing us to some of the capabilities of some of these groups as well, right? Imagine that government forces are doing shit, and you see the fireflies drop in, and wipe them out, because they're like a super crack elite squad of people, right? Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're really ragtag, and maybe it's kind of shown to you that way. They come in with like a bunch of nail bombs rather than M16s or M4s or whatever. Right? I think that there are a lot of ways that they could have shown a lot more conflict and opened the world up a little bit. Not like in an open world kind of way, but in making you feel like you were part of something larger by showing these groups fighting with each other. But for some reason in the main game, they never really did that. I don't know why. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. The game itself was awesome. I loved all the characters. The story was very basic, very bare bones, but it worked really well. And the characters that we got that were put in that story, sold it to us hardcore. The ending felt a little bit rushed. I feel like they could have did a little bit more deliberation there, or made you feel the gravity of Joel's choice a little bit more. And all the side stuff in this game, the music, the sound effects, and everything were sick as fuck. The opening to the game was really well done. I love the way they did the opening. It seems like sometimes in zombie things, we're very desperate to kind of throw people in, like, here's the news, and now you can see the blah, 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 right? But showing it through the eyes of a little girl that can see, like, a fire maybe in the distance outside your window, who wakes up and is scared and is kind of looking for their dad, right? These are feelings that we've all had before. We can instantly relate to a child, or I assume, right, where you've woken up sometimes and maybe your parents, are downstairs in the basement or outside the house or whatever, and you're very scared and confused, and seeing neighbors go crazy and cars driving by, like, putting you into that kind of an area, I think from the beginning was a really cool way to introduce the game. That's pretty much all I got. I really like this game. This is one of the best games I've played in a long time. I would give this game a pretty easy. It gets an easy 8 out of 10, just because of kind of maybe a 9 out of 10, just because of the flubbering around a little bit in the end, where I feel like things feel a little bit rushed. But this has easily been like one of the best games that I've played on the PlayStation 4 at the very least, if not of any console game that I've played. So thanks a lot. Glad you guys stuck through me with this. Hopefully my next game reviews will be a little bit more structured. I'll probably make a subreddit post and I'll request like what's a good structure for ways to interview games, like what topics should I run through. Thanks a lot for recommending this game. I love you guys. It's been fun. See you later. Peace out.